If you're looking for a season extending all-rounder under 10-meter boat, you may just be looking for the Axopar 29 XC. We're on board today in Pittwater, New South Wales. It's about a 30-degree day, and we're going to show you through. Now, we've already done a performance review on the Axopar 29 Suntop, same colour as this. The big difference here is that this is the XC with the pilot house that you see here. And the pilot house itself offers amazing protection. It offers year-round boating, and it's that season extender that we talk about. It's a beautiful place to boat in Sydney in the winter, and this is the ideal platform to do so. So I've actually just taken the boat onto the plane. We're heading off to Towlers just to put this on a mooring or anchor so we can take you through the boat. We're inside this cabin. The boat is tracking in a straight line like Axopar does. We've actually got quite a nasty little chop coming towards us, about 15 knots coming from the east, coming from the sea. But you know, I'm not having to raise my voice. It's nice and quiet, no rattling. Like Axopar, they're built very well, very refined. So whilst we're just on our way over here, I just wanted to point out some key factors of this boat, if you will. Now, Axopar, their DNA is that hull. They will never compromise anything on the top side that takes away from the bottom side. So really, they're designing a boat that is all about driver comfort. Performance just to us means we can drive this boat confidently, even if we haven't driven many boats in the past, with our family on board and make it a nice, smooth ride. So the second item I wanted to point out about Axopar is you'll hear the owner of the company, Jan-Erik, talk a lot about modular boat design. And what does that actually mean? To me, it means that owners have the opportunity to customize their Axopar 29s and their 37s and 45s more than any other production boat on the market. So they have more options for each area, be it bow, stern, internal, your engine setups. You can really pick and choose from the shelf and make your own boat exactly how you want it to be on the water. And this is part of the reason that Axopar have just become that global leader in this market that they've created themselves, the adventure boat market. It's if you create a dream lifestyle of what you want to do on a boat out on the water, Axopar have exactly the solution that you're after. Now, as we walk through this Axopar 29, you're going to see what that 10 years of customer feedback actually translates into on board this vessel. Jaakko Jamsen from Versatility and Jan-Erik, the original designers of the Axopars. The Axopar range are the only serial production vessels on the market designed by Jaakko Jamsen, and those minds combined with 10 years of customer feedback translates into this evolution from the 28, 10 years on. As we're here, we'll start by talking about the bow. Now, a lot of people have already seen the Axopar 28s, and they were quite a sheer point as you walk up the boat. On the new Axopar 29, they've carried the beam further forward and the bow is more flared. That gives you a raised deck level for what's underneath, but it gives you this extra beam at the bow, seating for at least 6 people around a table, easily inserted. Within probably 30 seconds, I haven't done this for a while, but we can be sat around having a picnic style meal on our foredeck. Axopar, again, that modular design, you can have it set up like this U-shaped seating. You can have it set up as an L shape and lose this modular item that I'm sat on here, but you keep that forward facing seating. Now this table, it drops down to fill in this whole area, or it moves back to create a forward-facing table, and you have another filler cushion that supports your legs if you want to just lounge here. One of the things that I love about Axopar whenever a new model comes in is that they've really looked at the detail on board these boats. One of the annoyances on any boat is when you have to stick your hands under cushions to open lockers. They've created these cool new little latches that means you have the quickest access to storage on board, I think, any boat that I've been on recently. This is open storage under this side. And on your anchor well, you're just reaching through the cup holder. You've got full access to your chain, a place to put your ropes up in the bow, and your windlass controller. Axopar have thought about it all. There is so much storage up on this bow, and they thought of a place to put everything. These table legs, they clip into the side here. The lower ones clip in the back there. It's all very neat, all very well thought out, and it's so Axopar. Now the Axopar 29 range actually has the broadest spectrum of upholsteries available on board the boat as well. We're sat on board with the Line-Tex upholstery, which is sphere colour. You can get this in grey also. You can revert back to the Silvertexes, which are great colours, 4 colour options there. Or you can now upgrade this vessel to a Mediterranean option. You would have seen this on all of the most beautiful 37s out there, but it really adds something with that more textured material. It's still completely waterproof, UV resistant, it lasts very well. And they have these beautiful bamboo inserts around your cup holders. With the Mediterranean, you get the sunbed and U-shape already included. And oh, we have sunshade options for the bow and the stern, depending on how you want to set up. So you can attain full shade across the boat. Forward multi-cabin, you've got the forward-facing bench on the top side. When you open her up, you have a space where you can create a forward cabin. This is also your toilet area, and it's an adaptable space. If you didn't want to have any of the cushions at all, you don't need to take them. That makes excellent storage for your water toys. You could fit wakeboards down there, fishing gear, you name it. Dedicated bathroom, if you wanted it that way. You can always option up the cabin on the aft. Right now we have this set up as a bed, and I will show you how easy it is to get some rest. So as I relax here, and Marnie, you're not too squashed in the corner there, it's pretty good. We have full length lying down. There's actually so much beam. I've got another foot before I hit the wall with my hand there. I'm looking up and I've got windows above. I can see blue skies, spotlights to come down, so those comfort lighting if you are going to use it as a bed. And also we've got air ventilation here as well. This would be the idyllic spot on a lovely summer's evening when you are wanting to stay on board the vessel. Light switches on my feet. At the end of the day, it is a lovely sized cabin arrangement, but it's also your bathroom if you wish it to be. So quick transition, and we've got the toilet accessible in the multi-cabin. Plumbed in toilet, holding tank on board, freshwater flush on all as standard in Australia. And quite duty, you drop this down and you've got your sink tucked away with a nice drain at the back. Very clever design to fit so much in such a small space. A lot of people are going to do away with the cushions and just keep this as a dedicated toilet and storage area. And that just depends on how you're going to use the boat. Just keep in mind, modular Axopar, you can always take an aft cabin at the back. Marnie, behind the camera, she's just behind you. She just mentioned something really poignant about all Axopar, I think, is that you can tell walking around it that they have been designed by people that actually boat. They know the intricacies that mean something is either going to work or it isn't. And that actually reflects in the demographic of people that we sell Axopars to. You have people from the most experienced boaters in the world. We're talking about skippers doing Sydney to Hobart, and you've got people that have never owned boats ever in their lives before. And the way the boat's laid out, the ergonomics of it, how easy it is to berth, pull up a line, have access to cleats, it's a mindset that you can't say represents the whole industry. We talk about drivability, we talk about versatility, we've talked about modularity, but really at the end of the day, this is an adventure boat. So this boat doesn't have them, but these boats offer features that other day boats just can't do to such an excellent degree. This boat comes with roof racks, if you so choose them. You can get rod holders off the back. You can get rocket launchers off the back here. And if you really want to do some fishing, you could even have a look at the CCX model. You'll see the whole time that I was talking there, I'm just using this handhold. That's a design feature that's there on purpose. Like everything that the company does, it's done on purpose, and it has been refined and designed to the nth degree. Okay, this is one of the big choices one has when they're deciding to buy a beautiful Axopar 29 XC. On this particular boat, we've gone with the wet bar. The wet bar opens up this aft deck, but you can also go for an aft bench, which is standard for Axopars. Lower height, backwards facing seat with storage underneath. Well, the most popular, particularly for Australia, is to have the aft cabin back here. That way, again, the front can become your dedicated storage and toilet area, and out the back here, right to this section here, on the top side you have a beautiful sunbed, and underneath you have around a queen size bed. One of the enhancements they've made from the 28 model is that the aft cabin on the 29XC opens from the aft like a car boot. Now, the reasons that day boats have become so popular, it's the access to the water. You could be at home, the sun suddenly comes out, you get to the boat and you're out on the water within 5 minutes. And this aft cabin, I see people stepping onto the back, they open the aft cabin, they put their stores down there, close it up, covers off to the helm, and off they go, and they're ready for the day. However, with the addition of the aft cabin, you could just as easily turn a day trip into an overnighter or a weekender. Without the aft cabin, we still have storage underfoot in the aft deck, access through the back, but it also links up to the inside. So you can store lots of toys. We've got the cushions in here at the moment and the sunshades, but it runs all the way forward and under the aft seats inside, which we'll have a look at shortly. So what you can't see on this boat is that you can also option up to have aft cushions on the top of the fender boxes, and that really turns this into a social hub. Let's have a look in the fender locker. This is excellent storage, and these beautiful angles that Axopar put in here, it's not just for the eyes, it's also functionality. They've increased the size of these compared to the 28 by up to 30%. And being that Axopar is an adventure brand, back in the corner here they've given you a 12-volt socket so you can pop your pump in there and blow up your paddle boards, inflatable kayaks and whatnot. If you don't option up the wet bar here and you have this open or you have an aft cabin, then you can also option up a wet bar in this aft section where you have a sink and a nice deep chest fridge. And yes, it does fit wine. Nicely hidden away on this boat, after you've been for a swim, you've got your transom shower at easy reach. Telescopic ladder underneath the swim platforms on either side, and if you require a bit more assistance to get out, you can get another ladder with handholds. What you'll notice on this boat is we've optioned up the twin 200s, and that actually takes a little patch away from the swim platforms. If you go for a single engine, which most of our clients do, then you get more area back here. As you see, we've got twin 200 V6s. This particular boat will go upwards of 48 knots. The twin engines give it a bit more torque off the line and that higher top speed. You can also option up a single 400 to match this. Other options are single 300, single 350 V10, and Axopar have just actually released the twin 250 option, and you can get a joystick with that. Some people like to cap off this area with a water ski frame. Not only does that mean you can have a bit of fun towing people around, but it offers a bit of extra handholds for this back area. Using my handholds again, I just have to point out that nothing, again, is done without reason. And Eric talks about these as being bump strips. You know, they guide you and they flow you around the boat. This guides you into here. So this is the perfect position to point out when you are berthing up this boat how accessible everything is. Without reaching, I've got my throttles here, I've got my steering wheel, and I've got my bow thruster, all on my left hand. My dock is going to be here, and this is my most important line if I'm single-handed. And it's a low freeboard on this boat, so you can pull up to most docks and step ashore and put on your first line. A key feature of this 29 in comparison to the 28 is that the volume inside this cabin is so much larger. You were never able to step back through these aft seats before, but now you can. And as you walk through around the port side, this is all on one level, and the Axopar 28 never was. The fuel tank was underneath. Under the seats, full utility on this boat. And the Axopar 29 being a full utility boat, you have a sink under your starboard driver's seat. And on the port side, a very deep fridge. Now both these forward seats move backwards and forwards, and they also swivel. One can get an optional table back here, so if you are out there and you desperately want to have your lunch but there's a bit of a patch of rain, pop inside, pop the table out and dine inside. What you'll notice about being a passenger on board the Axopar 28 is you get this almost theatric height of the aft seat. My feet are off the ground down here, but I get this perfect view through the windscreen, and generally it's above the driver's head. This boat doesn't have it, but if you did have an aft cabin, access has been made much simpler than on the previous model. Full access down to your aft cabin, and in this case to your toys. We're lucky today because it's 30 degrees out on Pittwater, and we're in a cabin, but we have the option to fully open the boat up to the elements. Say we were dining back there, we could sit inside out of the wind, for instance, but still get the sun on us. But you know, when it's super hot, we can also be in the shade. So this helm area for me represents probably the key for Axopar, which is the drivability of the boat. They've thought about the person driving it, they've acted on experience with how everything is laid out, and they've done it in such a well-mannered, ergonomic way. You can see whilst I'm sat here at rest, I've got this beautiful handhold here. That's by design. Apart from it looking beautiful and all being custom built, the functionality behind it is really impressive. One thing that's frustrated me for many years in the boating industry is that, like a car, they make these beautiful machines, but they seem to stop at the dash. They often put their buttons on just plexiglass plates or just metal plates that don't quite look right. Axopar have refined this. All of the inserts are set back into this. It's a beautiful piece of engineering on its own, but the functionality takes it to another level. So in my driving position here, seat with the bolster up, I've got a perfect line of sight out the windscreen. Steering wheel just at fingertips, throttle to my right, and harping back to it. I've got the cleat just here, I can touch it without moving my feet. Everything auxiliary on this boat is on the left-hand side, so horn separated off. The worst thing is when you're going looking for your horn on board a boat, but there it is. On my left hand also I've got my bow thruster and I've got my trim tabs. A few other items on this dash. Now we've got the twin Simrad setup here. We can control all of our audio via here, but you've also got the remote down here. This is where you connect for your Bluetooth. Wipers on here when you're going offshore and you're doing a rugged 3-hour drive up the coast, which you can do on these boats. You've got your wipers there when required. Axopars are incredibly dry boats. When we've shown you the bow on other videos, you can see that it's flared out. It's designed to push spray out and down. We generally have competitions at the company to see if we can keep all of the drops off of the windscreen, but when you do have that cross breeze offshore, you're going to get some spray back. Just down on my left of the steering wheel, I've got a secondary anchor control and bow thruster. That's a nice thing to move around the boat with if you're single-handed. Two small but important features on this dash is you've got a cup holder either side, a driver and passenger, and yes, it passes the Yeti test, which a lot of car and boat manufacturers don't. Just on the port side, we've got all of our battery switch remotes. Now, this leads in again to why these are excellent day boats, is because you step on board, you take out your shore power cable, you take off your covers, and you come in here, press some buttons, engine down, and you're away. On lots of boats, you're going through aft lockers and whatnot to find your battery switches, but on this boat, they're at your fingertips. You're out on the water quickly. Just above that, we've got this beautifully recessed pocket. I've got my phone in there at the moment, but you have lots of space there to store things, and it's a non-skid in there, which is a nice feature. You've got the same the whole way across the dash. You'll have all of your kids' phones lined up here during transit, and we've got another smaller pocket specifically for the skipper below the throttle on the starboard side. And behind my legs here, you've got even further storage for your chart. It's a trademark quality of an Axopar that you don't really get much bow rise when you're going onto the plane. You always have vision, sight of the horizon, and you're not going over that lump they carve through. Saying that, you have a lot of different driver positions to choose from on board the Axopar. One of my favourite positions, particularly in rougher weather, is to stand with my feet directly on the floor, and I've got a perfect line of sight through the windscreen. More comfortable than that often is to have the bolster down and feet up. This is a very comfortable seating position for longer trips for sure. And you've got the third option, which when you need to be up high and a bit of extra height for vision, you pop your feet up and sit on the bolster like so. So as we're getting ready to leave here, I'm just starting the engines. I'm reminded of one key feature on this boat that just make it so usable for both experienced and inexperienced drivers, and it is visibility. I was just checking everything was stowed aboard, and I can do that through the windscreens with great ease, but I was reminded that I can see every corner of this boat just from the helm. And this again is by design. If you compare it to the previous Axopar 28, they've actually brought the pillars forward. If you look at that visual out of the back there, you have a panoramic 180 out the stern and a panoramic 180 through the front windshield on the sides. It's really a driver's boat, and it builds confidence in its driver. So every time I step on board these Axopar 29s, and there's been a few now, you know, in the first year we've delivered at least 20 of these boats to new owners in New South Wales and Queensland, Australia, some in WA. And every time I jump aboard, I see a new angle, a new design feature, these boats, each of them they spend 3 years designing and honing and making it that driver's boat, that comfortable boat, versatile, and make the build process better, you know, with that modularity. Every element can be honed and focused on and brought together in this surprising package, which this is an everyday boat for everyday use, for people who are experienced, who are green. It's really the complete package. Thank you for joining us today aboard the Axopar 29 XC in the beautiful Pittwater, New South Wales, Australia. Please like and subscribe. I'm Russell Ayres from the Eyachts team. If you want any other information from Australia or New Zealand, please get in touch with myself or the team, and we'd love to help you and take you out for a test drive.